Game was going on last night. There was a lot of good NBA games going on, and I want to talk about it. So, first game that I got to watch a lot of, I can't lie, was Cleveland Cavaliers versus Milwaukee Bucks. I will say in that first quarter, I was really starting to believe in the Milwaukee Bucks. I thought that they looked like the much better team. Giannis was getting the ball every possession. AJ Green was doing a great job floor spacing. Huge shout out to Ryan Rollins, who's been one of the best additions this season, and kind of guys to just show up. And not a lot of people knew who Ryan Rollins was going into this year, former Warrior, if you don't know. And Ryan Rollins has had a huge impact on this Milwaukee Bucks team, starting over Cole Anthony, starting over Gary Trent Jr., even over guys like Andre Jackson, who they gave real money to. And he has been fantastic. Shaq, I did not know you were a Bucks fan. Yeah, I want to talk about that. Unfortunately, Giannis Antetokounmpo went down with the injury, so he did not return after the second quarter of this game. He will undergo an MRI on his groin to see if the injury is more serious. But yeah, tough one, because I really thought that the Bucks were going to win this game after the first quarter and a half of this game. Really, I have more to talk about the Cavs than the Bucks, but I really like the way that the Bucks are running their offense. It's really just Giannis getting the ball, being the main source of gravity, and then allowing everyone else to run around him, whether it's Miles Turner's moving to the perimeter, whether it's Kuzma trying to run around and grab rebounds, which I know Kuzma kind of gets in that forward all-you-can-do mode, but really he's not that great at anything, so it's kind of awkward sometimes. But AJ Green and Ryan Rollins specifically are literally out there to catch and shoot on threes. Ryan Rollins, though, has made a lot of progression as a pick-and-roll ball handler. I want to give him some credit for that. But I want to talk about the Cavs, because the Cavs won this game that moves them to 10-5. They are looking at like the top team, one of the top teams, if not the top team in the Eastern Conference. I really think they are going to stay limited if Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley are on the team together. I really like them both as individual players, and I really do like Jarrett Allen as a player. I think he could have a very big impact on a lot of teams. I don't think that the two of them together is going to work out much longer, and really, I think it's limiting the ceiling of this team. When I watch Evan Mobley play, he has to be more of a shot-creating big because of the fact that Jarrett Allen is hogging a lot of the one side of the paint at all times when they are on the court together. And I really don't like that. I think Evan Mobley's ceiling is kind of going to be, if you remember Kevin Garnett with the Minnesota Timberwolves, or these big forwards that kind of play the power forward, or Anthony Davis with the Pelicans. They can play the power forward, they can play the center, but they're versatile. They don't have a big man that's clogging up the paint starting next to them, or a dominant guy. Even when Boogie Cousins was next to Anthony Davis, he was a stretch big. But it feels like Evan Mobley has to be much more of a shot creator than you want Evan Mobley to be in this offense. Now, big shout out to Donovan Mitchell. I thought he looked really awkwardly aggressive to start the game. I don't really know how else to explain it, but he looked like rushed a lot in that first quarter. He settled down a lot once Giannis went down and kind of got much more into his rhythm. Hence why he finished 14 of 22, 7 assists, 2 turnovers, 37 points in this big win. I do also want to say the Milwaukee Bucks second unit. I know it's Bobby Portis, Gary Trent, but these guys are not really great. The second that Giannis was not on the court, this Cavs team was able to flip a switch like it was nothing. DeAndre Hunter made some really nice shots in that second quarter. I remember Sam Morrell was just nailing these threes down. Obviously, no Darius Garland out due to injury, but overall, I like what this Cavs team is doing. I just really think that they should consider making a move, trading possibly Jarrett Allen for another forward/guard, and maybe a combo ball handler, allowing Evan Mobley to run the 5 more, and then bringing guys like Thomas Bryant off the bench, allowing guys like Dean Wade. If they're going to play Dean Wade 28 minutes because he's that stretch 4 forward next to the Evan Mobleys and Jarrett Allens, you're clearly showing that you want to have a guy like that. So upgrade from Dean Wade by flipping Jarrett Allen. Get the guy that you really think fits the scheme more. And yeah, I think that Jarrett Allen does work a lot better when Darius Garland's on the floor too, because it's kind of the too small, too big lineup. But overall, when it's Evan Mobley, with what I want Evan Mobley to become and what I really believe his ceiling is, I don't like seeing him try and isolate Giannis at the top of the key because of the fact that Jarrett Allen's been holding down the paint. Let it be a Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley 2-man game for majority of this, with Hunter spreading the floor, Merrill spreading the floor, say Dean Wade or Lonzo Ball or Craig Porter spreading the floor. That's kind of the offense I want to see more of out of this Cavs team, but at a fully healthy, they have a lot of options with this team. I would just love to see them get maybe a better secondary to forward ball handler, as opposed to having Jarrett Allen clog up the paint. But yeah, overall good win for the Cavs. Big fourth quarter. Obviously, they took advantage of no Giannis in the second half. Giannis's injury hopefully is not too severe, because if he misses time, it might mean that he gets traded just because this Bucks team is not going to win a lot of games if Giannis is not on the floor. The Indiana Pacers continue to be the worst team in basketball, and I'm saying that over the Brooklyn Nets, over the Washington Wizards, and over the Utah Jazz. This Pacers team is horrendous. I love Pascal Siakam. I love that he's, wants to be that number one option. They just don't have the defense, man. They are a run-and-gun team with very limited point guard play. No offense, Andrew Nembhard's a very different kind of point guard than the Tyrese Halliburtons and the TJ McConnells of the world. Very different kind of point guard, and I think that it's changing the offense of what Indiana's doing this year, and it's not working. It is not a successful way of running your offense. Shout out to Benedict Mathurin for having a nice game, 25 points. Pascal, 29 points. But the Pistons went in and did exactly what they should have done. Jalen Duren, dominating performance with no Cade Cunningham, 31 points, 15 rebounds. Shout out Dennis Jenkins. He was the guy that I was talking about who hit that game-tying three the other night in the Cade Cunningham big game when he had 46 points on 45 shots. But 11 of 21 from the field in he played 33 minutes, but 8 assists, a couple turnovers. You expect that from smaller guards. Guy's low-key a steal. He looks a little bit like Jaden Ivey. He kind of fits that Jaden Ivey role while Jaden Ivey's out with an injury. But with no Cade Cunningham, did not matter. The best team right now, record-wise, in the Eastern Conference, the Detroit Pistons sitting at 12-2. And the Indiana Pacers technically the worst team in the Eastern Conference at 1-13. Moving on, we got the Paul George return, which led in a win for the Philadelphia 76ers over the Clippers. I've been talking about the fact that this is just a James Harden offense. It's a James Harden offense all through and through, basically, out there in LA. And unfortunately, when they do not have that forward defenders nor the forward play to have any other shot creation outside of Harden, this ceiling is limited with no Kawhi Leonard on the Clippers team. They fall to 4-10 with this loss. Bad loss, too, because I really, really thought that the Clippers were going to pull this one out. They had a big lead in the first half. They had the lead all the way to the fourth quarter, but in that fourth quarter was the Tyrese Maxey show. Finished with 39 points, 9 of 10 free throws. VJ Edgecombe, 14 points. Quentin Grimes, 19 points. There's a reason we were talking about the Sixers as some of the best guards, maybe the best guard rotation in the entire NBA between Jared McCain, Quentin Grimes, VJ Edgecombe, and Tyrese Maxey. Maxey is still showing why he's maybe an all-NBA first or second team player this year. 32.5 points, second in the NBA so far. 8th in assists at 7.7 assists per game. His shooting has been great. His energy is great. He is exactly what Philly needed him to be, and way more. Shout out Paul George, by the way, coming back, not really shooting the ball well, 2 for 9 from the field, but I really liked watching his aggressiveness rebounding. I thought his playmaking was solid. I thought, he had the 2 blocks, which were kind of cool to see. Shout out to Paul George for having a solid game in his first game back as a 76er. They just need to get Embiid healthy, and I think that this team can make a deep playoff run if everyone is healthy. Oh yeah, and Andre Drummond, 18 rebounds, including 5 offensive rebounds. That is definitely going to help against, a Zubac-led team, John Collins, and Nick Batum. Brook Lopez is not a rebounder, but I see Bogey got 7 rebounds. Shocker. Nice 2-point win there for the Sixers over the Clippers. Speaking of 2-point wins, the Miami Heat closed out the game. They held on. They held on with the nail biter. They held on to the nail biter and won this game. Mikal Bridges, 23 points. They decided to start Landry Shamet over Josh Hart. I'd still start. I don't know. I know Landry Shamet just had that big game the other day. I'm still not starting him over a guy like Josh Hart, in my opinion. Josh Hart led the team in assists. Also had a couple turnovers, but he was kind of the main ball handler outside of Miles McBride. The thing is with Deuce McBride as a ball handler, 25 points, no assists. He's not a point guard. He is a straight-up shooting guard. He wants to shoot the basketball. So putting Miles McBride and Landry Shamet back there just felt very clunky because they're both guards that they just want to shoot the ball a lot. They didn't have the playmaking as much. And I think that's really what hurt them majority of this game was their perimeter defense, first and foremost, with no OG Anunoby, obviously no Jalen Brunson. Tyler Kolek didn't get in the game as they only ran a 9-man rotation. They barely actually ran a 9-man rotation. It looks like they really only ran about 8 to 7-man as Yabusele only got 10 minutes. But shout out to the Miami Heat for having an all-around team victory. As you can see, you guys know the Spoelstra offense. It's a team game. Fontecchio, 14 points off the bench. Jaime Jaquez, 13. Drew Smith, 11. 4 of their starters in double digits with Andrew Wiggins taking 15 shots and basically missing all of them. So big game for the Miami Heat starters in this. Obviously, Bam Adebayo still missing time. I think Kel'el Ware has been fantastic. He was one of those guys in the summer league or in the off season you really thought could make a big jump, but I don't really know how the dynamic was going to be between him and Bam. If Bam was going to be shooting, Kel'el Ware was going to be shooting a lot more threes. Who was going to be the perimeter big? Who was going to be the interior big? But with Bam Adebayo missing time, Kel'el Ware has came in and played incredible basketball. As you can see, at a +8 plus minus in this game. 16 points, 14 rebounds, 3 blocks. Exactly what you want from your starting center, especially from your starting center when your real center is out. But just a good overall team victory here for the Miami Heat. Yeah, not much more else to say about this game. Good win. They go to 8-6 on the year, which actually puts them only 1 game behind the Knicks. The Knicks so far 0-4 away, which means they are 8-1 at home. Interesting to see if the Knicks can secure a home playoff series. Maybe you say that their ceiling's higher than if they're going on the road, but we got to wait till Jalen Brunson is back healthy to make any assumptions about playoffs. The Toronto Raptors take down the Charlotte Hornets. The really only clip I saw of this game was LaMelo Ball screaming for the ball at one point from, I think it was Sexton or Zion James or someone had to give him the ball. It was just a funny clip of LaMelo literally screaming. Yeah, Shaq, I know you saw it, screaming out loud. And then it was funny. He got the ball, immediately swung it to Khan for the 3, and it was the correct basketball play at the end of the day because Khan nailed the 3. I don't have much to say about this game. I didn't really get to catch much of it, but I do want to say Colin Sexton off the bench. I've been waiting for him to have a nice game. I really like Colin Sexton. I think that he should be a guy that winning teams should go out and try and spend a second-round pick or 2 to bring Colin Sexton. Like, I'd love to see Sexton on, say, the Los Angeles Lakers, even the Minnesota Timberwolves. He could fit that Dante DiVincenzo backup role. There's a couple places in that Western Conference, I think, that teams that would love a Colin Sexton off their bench. But man, Con Canoople is turning himself into a star in front of our eyes. 24 points on above 50% shooting, 7 rebounds, 3 steals. He is just an all-you-can-do on the basketball court guy. He's a confident shooter. He gets rebounds. He's aggressive. Him and LaMelo Ball, if they keep this backcourt together, I really think is going to be the backcourt of the future for this Hornets team. I'd love to see a full-blown lineup with this Hornets team of LaMelo, Con, Brandon Miller at the 3, possibly Miles Bridges at the 4, and then a real starting 5 that they find in the center. I will say, I know that Boozer brother over there in Duke would love to play with this Charlotte Hornets team. So if this Hornets team is going to keep losing, get a high draft pick this year, I think there's a couple big men in that draft that they're going to be sniffing out saying, you know, Kalkbrenner is good, but he's a backup. Miles Bridges might be our 6th man in a couple of years because we're going to find a guy when this Hornets team solidifies their front court in, say, 2 to 3 years, a LaMelo, Con, Brandon Miller, and a solid front court could be a scary team in the Eastern Conference if they do it right. They got to stop dealing with all these injuries, but they got to do it right. And shout out to the Raptors. I didn't even say anything about them. Brandon Ingram, 27 points on 9 of 21 shooting. Every single starter in double digits. You love to see Emmanuel Quickley getting 10 rebounds. I feel like I never would have expected to see that in the box score. So seeing him get 10 defensive rebounds means that they're probably pushing the pace more, wanting Quickley to crash the boards, which as a the coach, Darko, I think a Radmanovich fan. I really do like Darko. I want to see them run more. I would really like to see RJ Barrett not on the Raptors, though, because I want to see Grady getting starting minutes again. He's getting only 19 to 20 minutes a night. I really loved when Grady was getting real minutes last year. I thought he was developing his shot creation a lot more. I thought Grady was going to be a staple in the starting lineup for years to come. Then they put RJ back in. Obviously, they traded for Brandon Ingram, so now Ingram gets the minutes too. Want to see Grady get that starting spot, I can't lie, over some of those guys. 3 games to go. The Timberwolves took down the Dallas Mavericks. The Mavericks are turning into one of those teams that's like, if you're playing the Mavericks, you feel good. If you're a good team in the West and you're playing the Mavericks, you feel good about winning that game. Obviously, Anthony Davis out. Kyrie Irving still out. Klay Thompson off the bench, only playing 17 minutes. D'Angelo Russell only playing 22 minutes off the bench. The progression of Brandon Williams has been something I've really enjoyed seeing. This point guard, Brandon Williams, number 10. I've seen a lot of clips of him working with Kyrie Irving on his ball handling, and honestly, you can see it. He's a 6'1 guard. He's a smaller guy, but his ball handling and pick and roll IQ has gotten so much better throughout this year. So I will say I do like seeing the progression of these kind of no-name players that the Dallas Mavericks have on their team. But overall, good win for the Timberwolves. As you can see, no one really had to do anything. The entire bench played primarily all of the second half when they were already up so big. They had that huge third quarter. The start of the third quarter was huge for the Timberwolves, and then they just brought in their bench players and never looked back. But if Anthony Edwards can have technically almost if Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle are your lowest two starting starters, and you win by 24, it tells you that there's something really wrong going on in Dallas right now. Cooper Flagg, take more than 10 shots a game. Straight up. If D'Angelo Russell is going to take 11 shots and Najee Marshall is going to take 9 and Klay Thompson is going to take 9, even Jaden Hardy is going to take 9. Cooper, take more than 10. Just start shooting the ball. See what happens. I honestly don't care. I want to see him take ISO balls more. I just want to see him get more into his development stage. The same thing I was just saying about the Mavericks is the same thing I'm going to say about this New Orleans Pelicans team. This Thunder team scored 49 points. Do you want me to say it again? 49 points in the first quarter compared to the Pelicans' 24. And Shea really didn't have to come back onto the floor the entire rest of the game if he didn't want to. 23 points for him. Chet with a 26-point game because this team has no interior defense, especially if they're going to start Derek Queen and Yves Messi together. It's a weird, clunky front court that I don't really think is going to work that well. I've been talking about what this dynamic is like in the Pelicans. It's really, really strange to see guys like, Derek Queen's getting the same amount of minutes as Karlo Matkovic. Yet you traded your unprotected first-round pick this year to get Derek Queen, and you're 2-12. Pelicans, you're 2-12. You traded an unprotected first-round pick. Zion's obviously been out with an injury. Jordan Poole has not been playing due to injury. I don't know what's going on in New Orleans, man. They're 2-12. They've been rebuilding now around Zion for 5 years, and it feels like they're really restarting again. But they don't even have their own first-round pick because they traded to move up to get Derek Queen. So it's like, I don't really understand. Kevon Looney went from getting the starting job with Yves Messi getting coach's decisions or DMPs, and now it's Yves Messi getting the minutes with, I don't know. It's so odd. Thank God they fired Willie Green. I don't like Willie Green as head coach. I'm glad that they fired him. Would love to see Jordan Hawkins get more inserted into the starting lineup. I think his shooting ability is similarly gravitational to Ray Allen's. He looks like Ray Allen sometimes out there when he's shooting the ball, and I just want to see Jordan Hawkins be more empowered to get more of those starting minutes. But the biggest bright spot of the Pelicans this whole season at all is Jeremiah Fears. He's looked fantastic as a starting point guard. 15 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. He's got to get that playmaking up. But when you have no consistency in your big men, I don't blame him for barely passing the ball at all. Shoot the ball. Learn your confidence, Jeremiah Fears, and become a playmaker later on. This Thunder team, though, might really win 70-plus games. They're 14-1, and I think Shea has now not played in 9 fourth quarters this year. Out of 15 games, Shea has not played in 9 fourth quarters. And they're 14-1. Pretty impressive when you look at the statistics of the Thunder this year. Last but not least, I really got to go back and watch this game in entirety, see how it ended. I did see Jamal Murray hit kind of the three-pointer to win the game, but 34 points for Jamal Murray. Do you need me to keep telling you Jokic is the best player in the world, or is 36 points, 18 rebounds, 13 assists, 2 steals not enough to tell you? Even in a loss, it feels like this is just the Jokic ball. Finally, Cam Johnson had a good game, 19 points on 50% shooting. We've been waiting for Cam Johnson to have a breakout game with them. He looks great next to the starting lineup. With Christian Brown missing 6 weeks, Cam Johnson's responsibility just went up a lot. And I really think Cam Johnson's I think he's going to fit right in. I think it took some time. His shot wasn't falling to start the year. Maybe it was the altitude going to play in Denver. But overall, big win for the Chicago Bulls, 130-127. Ayo Dosunmu scored the 14th millionth point in NBA history last night. Fun fact. 14th millionth point on an 8-for-9 incredibly efficient game. I love Ayo Dosunmu. He's the exact kind of backup. He's why you trade Alonzo Ball in the offseason, because you have Ayo Dosunmu, who's that defensive-minded guy who's really more of a shooter, and you let Giddey do all the playmaking. Javon Carter off the bench took 13 shots, which actually I'm seeing is like second on the team. Shout out Javon Carter. Jalen Smith has been a great pickup. I really liked him in Indiana. I was surprised to see that Indiana let him walk with their questionable center play. And now he's coming off the bench in Chicago in 18 minutes last night. He had 16 points, 8 rebounds. He was really the difference maker because Jonas Valanciunas could not do anything during that second unit when they were running pick and rolls with Jalen Smith, Josh Giddey, Ayo Dosunmu, Javon Carter. The pick and roll defense for Denver is really bad. We know that because of Jokic being their starting center, that they're not really going to be that great of an interior defending team schematically or just in general. So to see the Bulls completely dissect that all game, whether it was Vucevic, I know he didn't have a good shooting night, but Vucevic kept popping out for three. Giddey obviously running that pick and roll, initiating the fast break with 14 rebounds. What is Giddey? Giddey is 10th in the NBA in rebounds per game. Isn't that incredible? 10th in the NBA with averaging over 10 rebounds a game. Shout out Josh Giddey for really changing the entire direction of the Chicago Bulls team. But no Kobe White, obviously still recovering from his injury. Modest taking 14 shots most on the team, but only having 13 of them. You want to see him, get to the free throw line. Modest, only one free throw attempt for a guy your size. Get to the free throw line, be a little bit more aggressive, go into the line. But big win for the Bulls on the road. This stops their 5-game losing streak. And now they get the Portland Trailblazers tomorrow night. So hoping to continue that win streak against Portland. And that's going to do it for my NBA recap of last night's games.